So, Late Night Vibes, episode 47, titled Forgiveness. Please like, subscribe, and, look us up. So, we've been away for a few long months. A lot of shit has happened. And first of all, I'd like to give a special shout out to God, man. I think God has really put me into a different space as far as like my journey, like this last year now. So I just hit 33 years old.
Congrats,
on the 4th.
Brother.
God is good, man. So before I start, I'd like to say rest in peace to one of my childhood friends, Renita Gearing, just passed away recently. And life is short, man. So we're going to dig deep in some relatable, touchy topics today. Actually, just a topic, really. Chris isn't here, but Chris will be here for another episode soon. He got caught up in some work stuff. The hardest working man in show business.
You told me that was me before this started.
I said, you the hardest working man I know in the world. He's in show biz, man. You're different. You a hustler of all trades, bro.
I'm in show business too.
All right, so like I said, the episode's gonna be a little bit personable and relatable on some things that I've been going through. So first of all, I've been working on a book called Black Boy Run. All right. And the book is basically about this young kid that's growing up, and we all heard the same stories about abuse and, the unstructured household, the father not being there, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this story starts off as a young man that was, he was abused, physically abused at 4 years old. I'm not going to get too deep into it about the book details about it, but it goes about how that young man becomes himself, like, throughout all the childhood trauma and the problems that he may have faced. What did he do? Like, how did it affect him? So I'll give y'all a timeline of me. I think a lot of y'all see me on Facebook. Y'all see me on Instagram. Y'all see me smiling. I got a bright smile, right? I'm always smiling. I'm always trying to give y'all a laugh. But I think the thing is, there's always something behind it. So we walk around a lot of times in this big shell and thinking everything is okay, especially as young black males, right? We got to be hard. We got to be, ready to provide, ready to go out there and work hard for what we get and try to provide for our families, et cetera. But a lot of times we got something that we're dealing with. And so depression and suicide rates go up in the black community, especially with males, all over males, not just black males, but just males in general. A lot of times we don't want to talk about problems and situations. So the topic today is forgiveness. So I give y'all a timeline of my life. I gave y'all, I was 4 years old. I was physically abused, like punished, like hurt, like to the point where I was in the hospital, I was burned alive, like in a sense, right? And then I give y'all some backstory about how I steadily grew up in that broken home as a teenager and then become an adult here. Now, how has that affected me? So me and my mom situation, I think I told a lot of people, my friends, maybe like some bits and pieces about it. I ain't trying to sit here and give y'all like no disrespectful stories. So I'm giving y'all like upfront, dishonest facts. Like I ain't disrespecting my mom, none of that. Like I love my mom to death, no matter what happened. So what triggered me to talk about this, I saw a clip. I don't even watch Love. Is it Love and Hip Hop? Y'all know what I'm talking about? I don't watch that. Like I think it's like destroying the mind, but that's just me.
I like Love and Hip Hop.
I bet. So
I ain't gonna mess you up, but go ahead, bro.
I saw a clip where Lil Scrappy was talking to his mom D, and he was talking about the way I am is not because of you, but the lifestyle that I live. Seeing the things you did growing up in a trap house to a whorehouse, like the way you raised me is the way I am. I look at my wife and she's hard. I can't talk to her. I look at you and my mom. I can't talk to you because you're hard. So he never had that growing up, the chance to actually talk about what he saw and what he felt. So I relate to that in the sense of saying, well, my mom, growing up in a single parent household, and my father wasn't there. It wasn't his fault. But I only learned that when I got older. But with my mom, she wasn't a whore or no shit like that, but she was out there doing what she had to do to survive. I think a lot of black mothers, they get in survival mode. and they did what they had to do, and they might leave some of the parenting on the side. They have to leave some of the good parenting on the side. They're saying, as long as I know that my child is 8 and he has a food on it or a roof over his head, he got clothes on his back, I've done the bare necessities to make sure that they're surviving and they're growing up past, get to 18, right? I think that was the mindset of what my mother was. So, but you don't think about that shit when you're younger. Excuse me. Stuff. You don't think about that stuff when you're
We
younger.
all trying to stop cursing as much on these pods.
Yeah. Positive vibes here. You don't think about that stuff when you're younger. You just thinking like, man, this is how life is. And you thought that that's how life was. Mm-hmm. For a long time, I used to think that, especially seeing my mom was always angry. That I thought like she was always just having this attitude for some reason. So a lot of times I thought that's how girls were for some reason. I was like, maybe that. And I don't know. I didn't know white women at the time because it was just all women that around me were black. So I thought that maybe that's just how women were. Like I thought that was just the normal thing. But the whole time, my mom was dealing with something herself.
For sure.
So I was sitting here. Let's fast forward now. I get past high school. Stuff happen. And you get to the point now, here I am, 33 years old. And I had a rough year. Like my year was like crazy, like mentally. Like you can have it all going physically. I know I graduated from school.
Congrats,
I got promoted, right? And I got everything going on, but I noticed something was missing. Like it was a big chunk missing, like in life. Like it was like more of a, I like that camera thing. It was more like a freaking chunk that was just missing in your life. And I talk about this earlier with you, bro. Like family is everything.
For
as
sure.
much as possible. You want to make sure that you're able to have those relationships as much as possible. So I was lacking that with my mom.
Can I know
Absolutely, man.
I know you
Come
got
on
me
in.
on here to interject. So one of the things like you was talking about with the mom stuff is obviously they grow up in survival mode, and a lot of them teach that to their daughters, and we see that. But what you sound like you were missing, and what a lot of us have missed, I'm not saying me, but a lot of people that are in that similar situation, is they miss the nurturing part, right? Yeah, the mom doesn't know how to nurture because she's trying to survive. Whereas I look at my situation now where my girl don't have to worry about surviving. So now she is trying to cultivate a certain type of environment for
A loving,
me, for my
nurturing
daughter.
environment.
Yes, exactly. But we didn't grow up with that. We grew up with, like you said, they were super hard. They had to figure out how to make it work. They didn't, it was, and a lot of them play the I'm the mom and the dad role, even though you're not. You can't replace what a father is, but they don't take on the nurture part.
They don't.
And then they get older and they don't really know how to nurture.
So like D, Lil Scrappy's mom, she didn't take accountability of it.
Makes sense.
So that was the point. Like in order for me to get to a certain place with my mom, I had to learn about accountability on both sides, right? So small people out there may know about my situation with my father. I talked about it already. My father wasn't there, but the whole time I thought that my father wasn't there because, the typical stereotype of a black male is what? He leaves his kids. Like I used to think that was thought that was normal. That wasn't the case. I won't get into it as much. But in order for me to have a better relationship with my mom, I started to see the different glimpses and shades of her. I started asking questions. I started to ask questions like, why are you a certain way? Why weren't you like this growing up? And honestly, you just never know what's going to hit you. You may be 40 years old and thinking everything was okay, and then it hits you.
Yeah.
You may be 21 years old, 18, but it's going to hit you eventually where you're going to start to do a self-reflection about yourself. And you ask that question like, why am I the way I am sometimes? Why couldn't I commit to one woman growing up? Is it because you saw that your mom may have multiple guys here and there when she dating? Like, your parents, first of all, a parent is a teacher. Like, first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna love you, take care of you, but they're your first teacher.
Facts.
Like going to school and preschool, like those are not your first teacher. Your mom and your dad are your first teacher. So seeing the things that you may have seen growing up, you learn and you take on those bits and pieces that they do, and you do exactly what they do. Like you will, if your mom and dad is a hoe, you gonna be a hoe.
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. It also teach you what not to do sometimes.
Exactly. As a teacher, that's all they do. They teaching you that. But I'm saying like not everything negative that you're gonna do that you see them do. Like I know I want to be 10 times better. My mom was a single mom, 3 kids, 3 different fathers. I know that I want to be totally different. I know I want to be able to be with one woman and marry one woman and have children with just her. Like I didn't take that away from my mom. I love my brothers and sisters. But some things that you've seen, you just had to start asking questions. So I started to make an outline of how I was going to do it, because I knew it was going to ruin my life. So I broke down. I had a point in life where I was just out of it, man. And some of those hard questions we don't ask. Like we just so scared to ask our parents, because a lot of times you get some negative answers back. What's the first thing black mom saying? You think you bigger than me now? You think you older? You gonna disrespect me like that? They love saying disrespect, and you don't be you just having a regular conversation with them. But it was a point where I had that tough conversation with, and the first reaction I got from it was like you think you disrespected me? Like it was. I can't believe you. This is the way you're gonna talk to me like that, et cetera, et cetera. My brother's reaction was like, "What about her feelings?" I was like, "Damn, that's like fuck me, forget me," kind of thing.
A lot of that goes into the whole. We don't really hold black women accountable for a lot of stuff, so it's like it's never about everybody being okay in the situation. It's like we gotta protect them first. Kind of similar to what we was talking about with the Drake stuff before.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, it's a good bar, but we're going to cancel them because you don't get to talk about black women like that. But not to hate on the black women. We love black women here. But
Absolutely.
There is a lack of, like you said, you should be able to ask those questions. You should be able to have those conversations with your parents. And it's weird because now I have those type of conversations with my dad, but I wish he would have had some of those with me sooner and earlier. It's almost like they were afraid to have those real conversations. You see like kids growing up now and they're like, oh, I didn't know how to pay a bill because my parents shielded me from that. They didn't teach me any of those things. They didn't talk to me about real life. They didn't talk to me about what happens if I have a baby with the wrong person or none of that. They just left me out here to my own devices.
Why is it though? Like, is it besides the fact you say that they weren't taught, or is there other reasons besides that? They had the same opportunity to learn from their mistakes like we did, but why?
I agree. I think it's a growing thing though, right? Like, as now that I'm a parent and I've had these conversations with my dad, it's like, okay, I need to impart this information on my daughter earlier. Or like when I look at my cousin and look how she grew up, and it's like certain things like, okay, yeah, I was trying to be the big brother role, but I didn't talk to her about sex. I didn't talk to her about, you know, who you lay down with and how that person should treat you and this, that, and the third. Because I was like, well, she don't need to know that. She just needs to know, like, if I take her on a date, he should treat you like this on a date. But I ain't teach her what happens after the date, what you should be doing, shouldn't be doing, and vetting properly. So now it just shows, like, I think nowadays we got to look at it like, I should have sat on the couch with you and want to talk this much. But I think it's just like, yo, we got to think about, like, how am I really preparing them for real life if I don't tell them that this is real life? This isn't very, like, my daughter lives a very privileged life now, but life is not like that.
My mom definitely didn't have those tough conversations.
Yeah.
With me. I think she had like one conversation was like, if you out there having sex, make sure you wear rubber.
Yeah, that's all they told us.
That's how it was.
And I didn't even have a conversation with my dad when I wasn't. Right? Even then, he didn't even like, you know how to put it on. Like, oh, you out here. Like, he just seen the condoms in my bag and was like, what you doing with that? And that was it. Like, yeah, we gonna find out what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to have those tough conversations with their kids. And I think now, as parents, we're the parents now, right? That's crazy. But I think that stuff, I'm gonna talk to my baby about it because I seen what happens when you don't.
Exactly.
You know?
You could be the product of what happens when those conversations don't have.
Yep.
We get to that point now. I think we're able to have multiple resources, man, about talking about things that may be tough. I think that was probably my issue too, like not knowing who to talk to. Like you get to a point where you feel like you have nobody to talk to. So how do I get past that point? I actually took therapy. right?
Good for you, brother. We all need therapy.
I seek that. So, and I think therapy came up as a recent, like everybody used that word so commonly. Are you really getting therapy? And do you know what therapy really is? And are you actually getting the good therapy where you actually go through it and you say, I'm okay now? Because a lot of people be like, they say they in therapy for years. There's some true and false behind it, but I think a lot of times people just saying that. Are you actually getting the good therapy? Well, I actually seek help, and it took me about almost a year to get to that point where my next point is acceptance, right? So forgiveness and then acceptance go hand in hand with each other. So accepting where I'm at now. I think a lot of times
Hold on, brother. We can't breeze past forgiveness.
I'm not done with forgiveness.
Okay, I'm about to say we can't breeze past it.
That alley oop's going back towards
forgiveness. All right, bad. Kick it back to the side.
So
I got it.
With acceptance, a lot of times things that happen to us and we're in denial so much about it. Like, did that really happen to me? Did I really get to the point where that really happened? Like, why did it happen? Like, nah, that'll never happen to me. A lot of times parents are like that. They don't want to accept the fact that they may have been mediocre.
Big facts.
They don't want to say that. And you're a parent, so tell me. Like,
no, because even like now, right? You'll see the memes. Like I remember one time I posted, you remember the little TV dinners with the little penguin dude on it?
Yeah, the little blue card?
Yeah. And I posted that on my timeline. I was like, oh my God, we were so poor. Look what we was eating. And my dad was like, we weren't poor. You had everything you had. And I was like, we was kind of poor, nigga. It's okay.
You had the bare necessity.
Yeah, but that's what poor people say.
Yeah.
Like,
you got food on the table.
We were eating bag cereal. Like they were joking, you know what I'm saying?
But vitamin. Like,
but it's like,
that cereal hurt you.
But it's like, okay, that's fine, bro. But it made me who I am today. So you can be proud of that. But also you can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
That thing that I felt like I was lacking propelled me to be this person. So you got to own both. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, we only hear the rags of riches stories. So we hear LeBron's mom was living in all these different houses, whoop-de-whoop, and now he's on billionaire. So it's like, okay, nobody's looking at his mom like, oh, she f***ed up. No, she just had a dude with good genes.
Yeah.
But they don't sit around and act like, yo, we were literally homeless. You know what I'm saying? Until they gave me that money to buy that Hummer, we was homeless.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with actually taking
nothing.
That. Like you should own that and say, yeah, look, I know the way we live was effed up, but we trying better now. Like, look at us now.
And to them, they did better than what they had.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
And before I move on, I always want to say again, I love my mom. Like, I love my mom to death. Like, I think that she is the gift to God sent. Like, God sent me this angel. Like, that's my mom. All right. I learned so much from her. And we had that tough ass conversation because I definitely got to the point I was going to block my mom. Right.
Yeah, like, you got to chill.
Like, yeah, I mean, it was real. Yeah. It was get to that point where the conversations that we had, it wasn't positive, like zero. And I'm a grown man. I work hard for everything I get. So the last time I let is another grown up talk to me in type of way.
I respect
so
that.
Accepting the point, you got to accept the fact that people going to do wrong to you. But you also got to accept the fact that it's okay to cut your family and friends off some point if they're not giving you what you need. So is it wrong? Like a lot of people say the same thing like, yo, that's your mom. You can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I understand. Like, you only get one mom, et cetera, et cetera. But at the point when people don't take you serious and they start to disrespect you, you have to remove yourself. Like you said, you don't block people.
I don't.
You rather have, turn
my
the receipt on.
My absence will be felt.
Send receipt, and then they see it and like,
well, my receipts is always on. But like I was saying to you before the pod, I'm gonna remove myself. You're gonna feel that absence. I know what I bring to people's lives and to the table. So when I remove myself and you feel like, oh, I still have access to him, but he not giving nothing back, that's where it really hurt. Like, oh, he talking, but not really. He not giving me the same love he used to give me. They'll start moving different.
I love blocking people. Now you do see in social media women be like, oh, that's girly of a man or something. Like, we're not gonna get to that point, but I see that a lot. I love blocking people because the point is you can't get access to me. Like, I'm done talking to you. And if I talk to you anymore, I'm going to get disrespectful. I'm going to get to a side. I don't want to be here.
But you got a green iPhone, so do you think the green bubble hit more? Like, oh, I texted him, but it came back green, or when I read it and I didn't respond?
I think they're both effective.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just a man of blocking. Like, nah, zero. Like,
I don't want to take you down a sidebar because I do think it's kind of girly, but I respect it.
everything we do as men these days can be.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do. You
even-
right, King. My fault. You right. I
I
shouldn't
can't
even say
even
that.
eat these days.
Yeah, nah,
without-
you right.
You know,
Block
so-
them. Oh, I was block them 304s.
Block them. So
Block 'em.
I'll block whoever. I got my sister blocked right now.
Lord.
I say it right now.
And you know, I don't got my brother blocked, but I'll read your shit and not respond.
So to him, it's like a block. Like, dang, he ain't even talking to me. I'm
Yeah.
heartbroken. And I'm only doing it because, again, I love my sister too. But disrespect. So maybe you can have that. You need to be a grown up kind of thing and have that one-on-one talk. But people ain't doing that no more.
Yeah.
People ain't having conversations.
We talk about forgiveness and grace a lot. I be trying to tell people, give people grace. But it to your point, it only comes to a certain extent where I'm going to allow you to keep trying me, bro. And then I'm going to remove myself. I'm not going to block you. I'm not going to even ignore you for real. I'm going to make my absence felt, though. And I do think it's a certain caliber of person that can, because some people, they'll walk away from your life and you're like, okay. But if I move, it's a void.
Everybody has a point where you provide a lot for your family.
I try to.
Like, and so I know you, like, I know your background, I know CJ, et cetera, I know everybody, but everybody has something that they have to give to a family.
Mm-hmm.
And once they're gone, you never get it back.
That's a fact.
Like, I had family members that had so much structure. They didn't offer anything financially. But they had so much structure, believe it or not. Like, they were glued to the family.
Mm-hmm.
I see myself being glue and the big dog of the family. So once I remove myself and I block people, things ain't happening no more.
Yeah.
Like, just from small social family events, they ain't happening no more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one that coordinate. They ain't happening no more. Do I did it on purpose? Like, no. Again, I did it for my peace and my health. So I accepted the fact, like, this is how it was going to be for a while. And then, like I said to you earlier, though, eventually you got to have those conversations with your family and saying, I don't really want that. Is that really, you get temporary peace for doing temporary things like blocking a person.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on who it is. I block a lot of ladies in my lifetime. So,
Yeah.
but if it's going to be like I'm blocking my family members, but I knew at one point I really had some genuine love for them, can I continue to live that way? Do I continue to show kids that I have in the future, if I have some kids, right? Do I continue to tell them, like, this is how you do things, and people, like, yo, you got to avoid yourself. You got to block them, right? But if it's like your mom or your brother and your sister, do you continue to live that life forever? Or do you get to a point where you say, enough is enough, but I want to make some kind of common ground? This is where the forgiveness part come into play, right? So going back to forgiveness, right? How can you forgive a person effectively enough where they may not take accountability, but you got to do it? And I hate saying this, right? You got to do it for yourself.
You beat me to it. Forgiveness is not for them.
It's not. I hate saying it like, I got to do this for myself. But you know you're not going to get nowhere with them. So acceptance and forgiveness going back and forth. I accepted you for being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I love you for who you are. What Drake said. My baby mama's a flute, but I love her for what she is.
I'm not allowed to like that bar, but I love that bar.
I love that bar.
I love that bar.
But it like, you gotta love a person for what they give you, for who they are, and you look at the person in their face and, man, look, I know you ain't gonna never change, but you know what? I love you for just who you are. I don't hate you. I may dislike the things that you do, but this is what we're gonna do. Now, although I said I got my sister on block, eventually I gotta have that tough conversation with her and have a good sit down and a one-on-one saying, how can we get to this point where we're on common ground? She got two handsome, young boys, man, my nephews. I want to be in their life somehow.
Yeah.
Because I want to give them something that me and her didn't get. And her structure, I ain't getting in her business, but her business, but I want her to be I want her to thrive too, but I want her kids to thrive. Like, I want them to have the best opportunity. And I know where I'm at in life. I can give them some kind of structure where, like, they can call Uncle Sabian and have those conversations, like, that they didn't have from their mom. But I want to be able to do that. So I'm getting to that point now. I'm ready to do it. Like, it's hard.
Okay.
It's hard. I mean, like I said to you earlier, eventually you might want to have a talk and a sit down, like with yours, like your brother, and be like, we can't get to that point where, like, we like how it used to be, but we can be to a point where we cool.
I've tried the what you said about forgiveness is 100% accurate, right? It's always for you. I don't like walking around with pent up energy or aggression. And we kind of old school. You kind of from the same school as me, where it's like, if I got a feeling about you and I'm walking around with that, I'm walking around with that 24/7. Like, I feel that way. So for me, I have to forgive you to let that go for me. But that don't mean I got to with you after. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to curse on your job. I'll bleep it out. I ain't got to mess with you after that.
Right.
I don't have to be cool with you after that. I can forgive you and never talk to you again. And it's no smoke. It's no issue. It's
I thought about that.
It's over. And I'm not saying that about my brother. I'm saying about forgiveness in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I have friends that, sometimes you grow apart with people. All kind of stuff happens. And I think you hit the nail on the head too. Like, you got to trust who people are. But once they show me, if I know who you are, and then you start showing me something different, now I have the opportunity. We voided the terms and conditions of our agreement because you done switched up some of the language in there.
Yeah.
So I'm moving away. And that's okay.
Null.
Yeah, it's null and void. I feel you because you know my little brother. So you be like, man, you ain't bone. You ask me every time I see you.
Cause
my answer ain't gonna change.
I love my bro. I love bro, man. I love to see, cause I got a big brother. Like I told you, like me and my brother ain't getting along. It's some crazy stuff that happened. I saved myself.
That's the one I be seeing in the gym, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he always speak when I see him.
Yeah, he's cool, but he just things about him, but he don't talk about it either. Like he needs much therapy as I did. Like,
I'm sure my brother talks to you guys about all that. I've gone to therapy. I'm not going. How long have I been doing therapy? Almost 2 years now. And a lot of it, we all have past traumas that we trying to uncover and get over. I didn't have a whole bunch of past stuff that I let linger because I usually, once I get to a certain point, I let it go.
That's a good mechanism to have. You flush it and get rid of it.
It's just, it don't serve you no more. Everybody walks around saying, oh, that doesn't serve me, so blah, blah, blah. But they still holding on to it. And forgiveness and grace is something where you got to just say, I forgive you. That's not for them. It's for you. And then after that, you give them grace to like, go live their life. Go be happy. Do what you're doing.
2019, you couldn't tell me that though.
I feel you.
So I thought that forgiveness was like, yeah, you forgive this person. No, 2019, I was in a deep, dark place in life.
You said something about them being accountable though. And I think that's where a lot of people fall flat on forgiveness because you want the other person to feel how they made you feel, or you want the other person to say that they're sorry for how they made you feel, but they don't owe you that in your forgiveness.
At all. At all. They'll never get to that point.
And the sad thing, I didn't learn this from, like, forgiveness, I didn't learn from therapy. I've had people do me wrong at a young age. And it's like, at a certain point, it's like, am I going to still be mad about some stuff you did to me in high school? Am I going to still be mad about old girl that did blah, blah, blah? She's still watching my life. I'm the winner. Why am I mad about the loser?
I like that part too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Being where I'm at in life now, I'm winning all day long. Like I'm not taking the losses. I'm being careful about what I do, but smart investments. I'm doing my thing. But I think also the people that hurt me, I see how they are now, like where they at in life. And I still want them to thrive.
Yeah. We ain't
Some of them.
Yeah.
One person. Right. One person. I don't want to see them thrive. But
is it petty to be that way?
Nah, that's just real. The word hate is real.
No, it's still petty.
I got one person I hate in life. Like I say that.
I don't hate nobody, but I know I'm hella petty.
I hate somebody.
I'm super petty.
The person that abused me, like beat the hell out of me. I hate.
Oh, you reserve the right to hate.
Yeah, I hate him. Yeah, but hate is a strong word. But I still want to see all my other people. I want to see them do good in life, man.
For sure.
So getting to the point now. Let's get back to forgiveness. I forgave everybody that's done wrong except like my sister. Like I ain't had that conversation with her, but I forgave myself for the way that I acted towards her.
Do you need the conversation to forgive?
I do.
Okay.
Because sometimes people don't even think nothing going wrong.
That's true.
People will walk past you and act like they ain't did nothing wrong. But they wonder why you changed up. Such and such is acting such as he ain't say nothing to me. Why is he acting this way? So I do have to have that conversation with my sister. It's gonna happen. And oh man, so the do's and don'ts while navigating life. That was my ending point here. I don't want to go on for a whole hour with this. I think a lot of information and details will come out in my book. But navigating this now. So let's land the plane. So getting to the point now, I say I'm gonna have that conversation with my sister, but how do you move now when you get to the point where you feel like you got the therapy? What's next? How do you move? So it's easy to do the, hey, look, I'm gonna stay in my own little world and nobody, cause I do that a lot. I'm a hermit crab. I come out when I need to come out. I'm only doing certain things with family and friends that I really trust, et cetera, et cetera. First of all, I like to say this. I'm not pushing religion on anybody. I gotta say that now because my world is political. So I'm a man of God, though. First of all, I'm not the biggest Christian, but I am a man of God. So I say, putting God first will get you out of those dark places. I'm a believer. It sounds crazy. We go do our own thing, be like, nah, this man, I know what he's about. I know who he really is. Let me tell you something. My darkest times and the craziest battles and wars have been won because of God. So I put God first. If I didn't put God first, I wouldn't get to that point where I'm able to talk and have those conversations, even opening up about who I was and how I was getting down. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't drinking crazy. I just had points in life where I just felt boom out of nowhere, like, damn, like is my existence on this world is even like righteous? Like do I belong here? Do I need to be here? So now I navigate more. I ask God questions first. And he's not gonna give you an answer, right? You're not gonna get an answer like not right then and there. And if you do, then damn, that's awesome. But you're gonna get an answer like later on when you wasn't expecting it. So navigate the way you want to be as far as asking questions to God. Give your battles up. I mean that. Like give your battles to God. If you're feeling like you can't talk to somebody, reach out to your circle. Like my bros are solid. I love each one of them. Probably about two of them I can talk about some real stuff. But I got resources on speed dial. When I got to the dark point, I called some chaplains up. I talked to Military One Source about like, no, I'm not to the point where I'm gonna kill myself, but I just want to talk and make sure that my questions and my problems were real. Mm-hmm. I'm not in denial no more. So I move the way I want to move. I'm respectful. I eat different. I work out like a dog still, but I'm also into the point where the music and the people around me has to be positive. So like I said earlier, rest in peace to Takeoff, first of all. I can't be listening to like crazy rap no more. Like I feel like you just feeding your energy, feeding your soul something that doesn't need to be there. I feel like you bring those energy and those vibes to you. So positive vibes from here. I want to end this episode just by saying thank you again for giving me the platform again, always being here for me. Thank you for showing up. It's Brittany. And anything you want to say, bro, before we close it?
Nah, I thought we was gonna cook up longer than this. I like that. I long form pod.
Hey, I think we can.
I think the topic is good, right? Talking about forgiveness, talking about especially therapy. A lot of people, obviously, it's a trendy thing. People say they be in therapy, they be lying, all this other stuff. Yeah. But go get you some mental. It's almost like going to the gym. Get some mental well-being. You know what I'm saying? Like that. It's gotten me to a place in life now where I'm like at peace with like the universe around me, and it's a good feeling to know that it helped me in my relationship, that it helped me personally, that it helped me. One of the things that one of my first sessions, my first solo session, we was talking about insecurities, and I was like, I don't got no insecurities. And she was like, I doubt that. And I was like, well, I don't care about like how tall I am. She said, oh, those are superficial. But then we started getting deeper and deeper, and it's like stuff like failing my family is an insecurity of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like not being able to provide for my girl and my daughter, that's an insecurity for me. Even though I can now, the thought of not being able to do it
It's scary.
is, yeah. So then that's where I don't have a lot of anxieties and fears, and I'm pretty solid out here. But those are the things that she uncovered from me. Like, oh, that's an insecurity.
And this was a soul session?
a solo, like, cause I did couples therapy before too.
Okay.
You'll get there one day, brother.
Yeah, I will.
But I've done couples therapy. So in the solo session, I uncovered like, I never even thought of that as insecurity. I thought that like a driving force. But those same things that you can use to drive you can also be insecurities, right?
Yeah.
And she like made me think about that. Like I'm not insecure about my body. Even when I was a little husky, I wasn't insecure about it. But it is something that like, it's like, nah, you do care about how you look. You do care about how you feel. You do care about all those things. Like you might not be insecure like someone who's like, oh, I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm gonna get up and go do something, but that's still something that I was working through. Like that kind of stuff will leave me up at night. And that's different. So therapy, like Sabian is saying, if y'all need to, your insurance probably will cover some of it or whatever the case may be. Go get some therapy, bro. Go talk to somebody for real. Get over them past traumas. Young ladies, you want to learn how to be a little softer for your man. You want to get you a man. Go to therapy so that you can get over them daddy issues. It's not just about daddy issues, because you might have some mom issues too, right? If you grew up in a household with a single mother, you probably got some stuff with that too. You think it's all about your dad not being there, and it's not.
There's plenty of mom issues.
You know what I'm saying? Your mom left some stuff on you too. For sure.
Fellas, same thing too. You got mommy issues too.
We all do, yeah.
You gotta get away from mommy issues. Like that's probably one of the major things I see. Not with strong men. I think they're okay, but there's something that's missing. They're scared to talk about it. Definitely scared to talk about it.
We just grew up in an era where you weren't really supposed to talk about how you felt about nothing either, though.
Yeah.
Like you weren't like, my dad used to have a shirt that said "No whining." You know what I'm saying? With the Tasmanian, it was cartoons. It was Tasmanian devil in them on there, but it said "No whining."
I need that shirt now.
It was hard. I'm still like, no, but for real, it was almost like,
those things,
you know what I'm saying? As young men, like something happened to you, don't cry, suck that up, don't da-da-da. And then it's like, then you create this hyper masculinity, but then you get into the world and people are telling you like, oh, you can't do that.
And hypersexuality comes along with it.
Yeah, a lot comes with that.
Like your insecurities come into play. You're just doing things to resolve and be hypersexual.
For sure.
But that goes back to the point, you remember when the little teddy bears, like, show me where they touch you at?
Oh my God.
Like now,
yeah.
No, that shit, kids are talking like, he did X, Y, and Z to me.
Oh, they already know, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it ain't the same.
These kids, we had to sneak to watch the porno. I had to get my dad tape and go find a room where I was by myself, and I had to rush because I was like, let me try to get one off right quick before they pop up. Now, this shit on my phone.
Watching real sex changing back and forth.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Man, yeah. You can take...
I was about to start naming stars.
I ain't go that deep. You can take some of the things that you experience with your parents and use them now.
For sure.
Like I got some people I work with that can use the tough shell. Like they need it.
Yeah.
Especially today, like younger kids, like in their early 20s, or they're feeling overprivileged, or they're feeling like this is how the world should be in my eyes. And they don't understand the world, no matter how we may splice it, this world is dark. The world will eat you still. But I've been so good at understanding the life that I had and understanding the life that is right now. I think we're in trouble. I think if something don't change, I think we're in trouble. I think you have the ability to teach your daughter, life is good, but let me also show you life is also like this too.
Yeah. A
lot of parents don't have that gift yet. They're not able to do it financially either. So they're so busy, still in survival mode. That shit never changed.
Yeah. That
stuff never changed. Sorry. I'm going to slap myself every curse word I say. So that stuff has never changed. So survival mode is still out there, and kids are still being brought up in this world. They don't know any better. That's where we get back to saying the young kids, it's like what I said, Brian Robinson shooters were 16 years old, 15 and 16. Or people out here committing murders at 14, 15 years old. That story I just told you
before the pod.
That's wild.
And I've coached for 12 years, so we've seen the kids that could go one way or the other. And he was definitely one of those. Like I told you about his mom and dad not being around, being in and out of jail. And now I see that story and it's like, damn, he really could have been like
Potential, man, to be.
at Green Run getting off on the field, but don't nobody care if he in school. Don't nobody, you know what I'm saying? And then I see that on the news and I'm like, what the hell? I feel terrible for him, to be honest.
Do you feel like you're somewhat like kind of responsible? Like you could have had a bigger role in his life? Or you think you did what you could have done?
The only way to have a real bigger role would have been to like have him come live with me type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I told you, it was Christmas and this kid was at our house on Christmas. Mom didn't care where he was. Nobody cared. You know, I would go pick him up for practice. Sometimes he'd have holes in his socks. I gave him an iPhone and everything. Like, hey, bro, you got his phone. Like, I don't know. Other than him living with me, ain't nothing else I could have did.
I think kids like that, I feel bad hearing stories
I feel
like
bad.
that. But, you know, his life is gone.
Yeah.
Like he, you know, if kids do stuff like that and they're 15, they gonna do time. Maybe there's some room for rehabilitation. Maybe they'll get out. Maybe they won't. But some cats, yeah, they 16 years old. They going away for 30, 40 years.
It's over.
Coming back. Your life is completely done.
I
feel bad for kids like that. But I wish it's like, of course, in this book, I want to be able to have that, giving it out to the kids. Like, hey, here's a free book. Just read it. Maybe you can relate to it, and then maybe you can find the help and resources that you need yourself. Find a big brother. I say big brothers are the biggest thing in the world. Big sisters are too. I don't have a big sister, but big brothers are everything. I'm not trying to give you no big brother program. No, what's that thing out there in South Norfolk? The boy and girl
Boys and Girl Club.
Like I ain't, you know, that's cool. Like I don't know nobody like that, but I know my big brother, and I'm a big brother to, you know, my friends and to a lot of people I work with. But that's a big resource, man. I think that's missing in the household. I think just that manly figure, but a big brother, father. But being a big brother is everything. I mean, I think that's an important relationship. But you're hearing kids like that, like now their life is over. They wish they had that.
Yeah.
I'm heartbroken to hear that.
I know you're ready to slide, bro.
No, I'm good, man.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit the bell on Sabian stuff, man, and go check out Just Another Podcast too while you at it. God damn it.
I want to do this more often, but I want Chris to be here, of course. But I'm sorry for like the lack of consistency.
On your show
with the podcast, man. Yeah,
it's a grind.
It is. Like you got to be really consistent with it. I was like, this is my baby, et cetera, et cetera. I just abandoned her. I just left her at the foster care. I'm sorry, late night vibes. So
a lot of people do that though, bro.
And sometimes it's hard to come back. I'm actually nervous being here, guys. So
I live in here.
Yeah, he has a bed in here.
No, I have slept on that couch before though.
Yeah, I saw you with your Gucci blanket. So thank you everybody for subscribing. I'll put this podcast out. So I'm out, man. Thank you.
We out.